Hey guys, today I'm going to be brewing a Weiss beer. So I've got my wheat, a couple of kilos of that. I've got my crushed orange peel, my coriander seeds. I've got some leftover citra hops, so I'm going to use that. Probably not the right thing for a Weiss beer, but I'm just using up some old material. And I'm going to be using Maris Otter and probably some Munich as well because I have those left over. The reason for doing this video is more to do with a yeast. I've decided to try a different yeast. Normally I use a dry yeast, and this time I'm going to be using the Wyeast, which is essentially, as you can see here, it's a packet of yeast. There's a liquid yeast inside it, and then there's an additive in a package. And the idea is that you smack the package, you break the actual food, that's nutrient that's inside it, and then that releases inside the package. And what will happen is that this will, expand out, as you'll see. Leave it for a couple of hours. So I'm just trying to find where the actual pack is, and I think it's just about here. Yeah, it feels about there. So if I then smack it here like this. And that's, I think, has not yet released it. Try again. Not being brave, I don't think, so let me try one more. Actually, let's try and get it down this end. Get it into this end, and then let me release the fluid. Fills those here. I think that's done it. Yeah, that certainly feels like it's released the nutrient. So shake it up a bit. And this is the Wyeast. This is for German Weiss Beer. It's the 3068, and the idea with this is that, say, this activator that's inside it will help the yeast itself to actually get the nutrition that it needs to start the brewing process off. So I don't need to do anything with this now that I've activated it. I need to leave it for a couple of hours. The packet was in the fridge when it was delivered to me. I took it straight out of its packaging and put it into the fridge, and then I left it for a couple of hours from this morning so that it could actually get to room temperature. So the outside temperature here at the moment is about 19 degrees, which is a good temperature for the yeast to activate on. So what we'll do is we'll come back in a little while, and hopefully you'll see that the yeast has expanded, and by that stage I'll probably have used up the actual wheat that I have here, the crushed wheat, and made up everything else. So I look forward to trying this as a new experiment. Right, well, we're about 3 hours later, and this is the packet now. So as you can see, it's expanded quite a bit, and this is because the nutrient that was inside the packet, which I burst, has now blended with the yeast, and the yeast has started to activate, and by activating it's starting to produce CO2, hence why the packet has puffed up. Now I've seen people prepare the packet, put it in star sand, and then get it ready to pitch, and I have my fermenter already with star sand in it, so I'm going to probably pop this into the star sand just to get it a little bit wet. And then you've got these little areas here where you could just tear it, cut it, whichever way you want to do it. Other things here, this is my orange peel, my crushed coriander, and then finally I've got some mosaic hops, which I'm going to add at the chilling point of the actual brew itself. So it's in the boil at the moment, has been now for the past 20 minutes or so. So I'm going to add those in later on throughout the boil process. This one I'm actually not going to use any Irish moss, so we'll see how it comes out. But because it's a Weiss beer, I want it to be slightly cloudy, and I'm hoping that will actually maintain the cloudiness in it. So the next time you may see some of this stuff, maybe when I actually have poured a glass of the Weiss beer, so you can see the end result, and we can see how the yeast is going. I may just do a quick shot of filming it with how we're doing with the fermentation throughout the process. So look forward to seeing how this works. This is a premium yeast. Usually I use a dry yeast, so fascinated to see if this is both going to give me the flavour, the ether and the banana-y sort of flavour that you get from a Weiss beer, which is what I'm very hopeful to try and achieve. And then these will just be a little bit more of an additive to give it a lift and a little bit more depth to it. But we'll wait and see. Well, it's now 12 o'clock on Sunday, and as you can see, I pitched the yeast sort of around about 7 or 8 o'clock last night, and we're in the fridge at the moment. We're set to 17.8 degrees centigrade on the little temperature controller there, and we have fermentation well underway. So I can safely say that we now have the fermentation working, and you can see the head of the fermentation and the yeast making its head. So I'm pleased with the outcome at the moment. Be very interested to see how the beer tastes. I'm going to leave it at 17 and 17.8 degrees for 5 days, and then probably boost it for a little bit more later on to improve the flavour.